Hi guys, this is Amy with Talented Canine Dog Training. I just wanted to sit here and tell you guys a little bit about my story. So, ever since I was little, I have always been an animal lover. I absolutely love dogs and working with them. Of course, I didn't know what I was doing when I was little. I had several dogs growing up, and a lot of them very badly behaved. They ran off, they chased horses, they got in fights, they didn't come back when called, they didn't walk with me, they were reactive on walks. I had a little Dalmatian that would bark her head off at every other dog she seen. It was really embarrassing. I remember several times hiding behind trees and cars when I seen somebody coming. I remember going on hikes and seeing somebody coming down the trail and having to get my dog and try to hide behind a tree, and she would still bark her head off, and the people would always get mad at me. Like, control your dog, and I'm like, I'm trying to control my dog. So I've definitely dealt with that stuff before. And like I said, I didn't really know what I was doing back then. I learned a lot with my little Dalmatian dog. I guess she was my naughty but nice girl. Very sweet dog at home with our other dogs. She knew like 40 tricks or something and 14 obedience commands. Really smart, really good dog, but and I did eventually get her over her fear of other dogs. Like, eventually that was no longer a problem. I could walk her without any issues along with my other dogs. I used to have 6 dogs. So yeah, definitely been there before, and I've had quite a journey becoming a dog trainer. Like, Allie definitely started it. I started my spark for it, my passion, because I spent most of my time when I was little training her. My mom actually wouldn't allow dogs in the house, and she made me a deal that she could come in the house, but only if I was training her. So you can bet I spent a lot of time training that dog. I learned so much with her. But anyways, so I've journeyed through a lot of different training methods, finding out what works, what doesn't work so well. My throat's getting dry. Got a new coffee mug yesterday. Pretty happy with it. But anyways, so I started out with her. I got a video and watched it, and it didn't have to do with any treats or anything. It was very correct the dog, make him do what you want and everything. And I learned a lot from that video. I did learn a lot, and Allie learned some things, but neither of us enjoyed it so much. Like, Allie would definitely prefer to be out doing something else rather than training. And then I got really into clicker training and positive reinforcement training. That was a lot of fun for us. I taught that dog so many things, and then I taught my other dogs so many things. Through that, it was awesome, but it also limited us. So Allie was still not doing so great with other dogs. My other dogs at the time were getting in fights. if I took Allie anywhere, Allie went everywhere with me. Like, she was absolutely my favorite. And so I spent most of my time with her. And when I would take her out, she would be stuck on leash. You know, I could not trust her off leash at all. She would run off. She would not come back when I called her. And she loved to hunt. Like, she loved rabbits and all that stuff. I'm still, like, getting used to my talking on the phone camera, so I keep forgetting that the camera is up there. I keep looking at myself. I apologize. Anyways, where was I? So, Allie, oh yeah, she would not come back when called. So, at this time, I was still in school, in high school, and then I graduated and I went to Triple Crown Academy, which is now Starmark. So, that was over in Texas. I was there for about 4 months to become a professional dog trainer. And I learned a lot of new stuff. At that point, I was still very into positive reinforcement, clicker training. I thought prong collars were evil. I didn't like shock collars or anything like that. And if I seen them on another dog, it would make me sad. So, when I went to the school, they did teach with all that stuff, and I didn't have to use them at first, but then eventually I ended up having to use them and learn how they worked and everything, and I realized that they weren't as bad as I thought they were. I even used one on my dog Allie. I used a prong collar and a remote collar on her, and all of a sudden I had a dog that was no longer barking and lunging at other dogs. I had a dog I could trust off leash. We were able to do so much more when I started using those tools. So that made me realize that, you know, maybe positive reinforcement wasn't like completely amazing. Like it is. I really love that stuff. But obviously it wasn't giving me the results that I really wanted with my dogs, which was off-leash freedom and being able to trust them and enjoy our time together. And so I went through, I switched to balance training basically, and I used lots of treats, positive reinforcement, clickers, but also using the prong collars and remote collars. So I did that for a while when I got home from school, and then I got into the Perfect Dog System by Don Sullivan, and he did not use treats at all. He just does, you know, praise and reward and corrections. And I seen really cool stuff with what he did, and so I tested that out. I love to experiment with different training techniques and see, like I said, see what works and what doesn't work. So I tested that out and got really cool results from that. So I did that for a while, and then ended up switching back to more balanced, bringing back in treats and rewards and clicker training and all that stuff, because it's fun. I really enjoy it, and I don't like not being able to give, I don't like being so structured on what I can and can't do with my dogs. I don't think anybody else does either. So I switched back to balance training for a while and did really well with that. I got awesome results, and I really can't complain. And then I found Absolute Dogs, and they train through playing games. I was like, well, this looks cool. This looks fun. They have really cool results with their dogs, so let's see what it does. So, sorry, just trying to find a place for my coffee. So I started experimenting with games-based training, and now when I experiment with something, I toss out everything that I knew before. I give it a fresh start, and I really put all of it in to see exactly how well it works. Like, does it give me the results I expect? Does it not? And games-based dog training is actually pretty cool. I'm seeing really, really cool results from it, and it's where it gives us a chance to train for situations instead of in situations. So trainers that use aversives and stuff like that, which I've been one, are trainer one style. Positive reinforcement training, where you reward what you want, ignore what you don't. To an extent. I mean, not all positive reinforcement trainers do that. Some of them do interrupters and all that stuff. But anyways, they're all trainer 2 based. And then games based dog training, we call them trainer 3s. So I am still in the experimental phase of that, but I'm seeing really cool things and seeing how, like, playing games for something that doesn't feel like it's going to help in the situation you really want to train for has helped on so many different levels. Like, it's really cool to be put in a situation that you've never been in before, never thought you'd be in before, and having your dog make awesome choices, never even, like, you didn't even train for it. I mean, you did because you trained games and everything, but you didn't realize that that's what you were training for. So an example of this is we went camping with our dog Hershey and Blackjack, and while we were setting up camp, a friend of ours got on the four-wheeler and ran down the road. There were a few other dogs at camp. So 2 of the other dogs and Hershey took off after the four-wheeler. And so they're on the road, is busy, kind of a scary situation. And so I went in the camper to get some food in case they did return to me or had trouble returning to me, and because the other dogs weren't my dogs. And so I went in to get those, and I came back out to go looking for the dogs. And by the time I got out of the camper, which was pretty quick, Hershey was already back at camp at the door, like, waiting for me to come back out. Like, I didn't call him. I didn't even have time to look for him. I went into the camper to get treats, came back out, and there he was. So I didn't expect that to happen. You know, like, he has a pretty good recall, and he usually sticks around really good, which is why I let him run around camp while we got set up. But I didn't have time to get him when they got on the four-wheeler or anything like that. It just happened. So he chose me over running after the four-wheeler, which he loves to do, over the other dogs that were running along with him, and over the environment, which we have not been in a whole lot. Because, I mean, we go to the desert a lot, but we're in the mountains, and he's only been in the mountains like maybe once before. I'm not sure. But anyways, there was a lot of new things, lots of animal smells, lots of stuff he could have chosen to do, but he chose to come back to camp. So that was pretty cool. The other dogs did make it back too. But then some other examples would be, like the other day I had a friend stop by, and I let the dogs go say hi and everything, and Blackjack really loves this person, and they play their own little game. It's lots of excitement and everything. And Hershey said hi for maybe like a second, and then he went into what we call middle, where he goes between your legs and just stands there. And he chose to play games instead of going and saying hi to the visitor. So I thought that was pretty cool too. But besides my own success stories and everything, like I'm in a big Facebook group with other people who do this training, and seeing all of their stories and everything on how it's worked for them and what they're able to accomplish is really cool. And it really does give you real life results, which is what I've always wanted with my dogs, real life results. I mean, that's pretty important. We live in the real world. And so I'm really excited for what it's doing for my own dogs, but also what it's doing with other people's dogs and my students' dogs. I'm seeing really cool stuff with them as well. And I'm really excited to share all of this with you guys. And like I said, I'm still experimenting with it a bit, but I'm seeing really cool stuff. And as long as it keeps going well and everything, I don't see me going back to balanced training, because I mean, for one, the tools and everything are very frowned upon in nowadays. There's lots of people out there trying to get them banned, and I really would love to not have to use them at all, and games are giving me that. So anyways, kind of catches you up to where I am right now, and thanks for listening to my story a little bit. Sorry it's kind of long, and I will see you next time. Bye.